This is Rob McLean here, bringing you live wrestling action from Rocklin High School. Tonight we have Rocklin Thunder versus the Del Oro Golden Eagles. We have a JV match going to start about 6 o'clock, followed by varsity. If you've never seen wrestling, it works like this. Two kids get out on the mat and they try and pin each other. Obviously it's a little bit more complicated than that. There are pins, and short of a pin, there are points. You score points by taking your opponent down, and you can win a match even without pinning your opponent, scoring more points. And it's also, in addition to the individual battles, it is a team match. So for the various, each wrestler takes a mat in his weight class. If he wins, these points go towards his team's total. That's what they will be wrestling for here tonight. It is a dual meet, meaning the two teams are facing each other, going for team points. What's on the line is the Sierra Foothill League title, more or less. Right now, Del Oro is undefeated in their dual meets. Rocklin has one loss against Natomas. They lost to Natomas last Tuesday night. So what that means, if Del Oro can win here tonight against the Thunder and then go down to Natomas next Tuesday and win, they will be the Sierra Foothill League champions. If Rocklin, however, can defeat Del Oro tonight, they're still in the mix. Then all kinds of things could happen. They beat Del Oro tonight, and Del Oro goes down and beats Natomas, then it's a three-way tie. So all kinds of things can happen. Nonetheless, the top two teams from the league will be going to the section meet. That happens this weekend. So both these teams are trying to get into that section meet this Saturday. Excuse me. They're both looking to get into that section meet this Saturday, try and win a section title. Rocklin has won the Division II wrestling section title the past 2 years in a row, so they are obviously very strong. Del Oro also has a rich tradition of wrestling excellence. They won the the Sierra Foothill League title. I can get my facts here. They won it 95, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. So Del Oro on a hot streak of late, only stopped last year by Rocklin winning that SFL title. Some of the highlights you're going to see tonight in the varsity match, that will be following the JV match. Here you see some JV wrestlers getting warmed up, getting ready, getting loose. In the varsity match later on, maybe the premier match, we have Micah Ferguson at 119 pounds from Del Oro. He's ranked number 1 in the state. He will be, he's undefeated this year. He'll be facing off probably, most likely, against Jared Schillenberg. He was at 119 pounds for the Thunder. Jared was the Sierra Foothill League champ last year. So Micah, he's number 1 in the state. He was number 3 his freshman year, number 4 last year. This is his junior year. He's ranked number 1, so quite an accomplished wrestler there. He'll be looking for a state title this year. And by the looks of things, he is well on his way to doing that. So should be exciting to see him. Heavyweights will have a good matchup. AJ McTaggart versus Matt Wakeford Evans. That should be quite a match. And at 171 pounds, Matt Dickerson from Del Oro facing off against the sophomore from Rocklin, Robert Bennett. So here we are. We're live at Rocklin High School. Varsity and JV wrestling dual meet. Here you have it. Take a look at the JV wrestlers for Del Oro getting warmed up. Getting ready for the match. Things should start about 6 o'clock tonight for the JV match. Match goes about an hour, hour and a half, depending on if each team has all their weight classes filled and if there are any pins, or if the matches go the entire 6 minutes. So at the JV level, sometimes the team can't fill all the weight classes. So JV matches can be a little bit shorter. Varsity, which should, barring any injuries we're not aware of, there will be a full lineup on each side. So Del Oro getting ready there. Rocklin's JV team has just made their way into the gym. They will warm up after Del Oro's done. We will be joined tonight by Rocklin coach, one of the assistant coaches. We'll be providing some expert opinion, commentary, and observation, keeping us up on the scoring, the moves and the holds that are happening. If you've only seen the WWF Pro Wrestling, this is quite a bit different. There are strict rules here that must be followed to ensure the kids' safety and to make sure it stays a clean match, and they're really working on their skills and the athletic expertise of it rather than the theater of pro wrestling. Wrestling, a popular sport at the high school level, it gives an opportunity to kids who might not be big enough to play a football or basketball. They can join the wrestling team and be able to compete against kids their own size. Makes it fair. It's also kind of a unique combination of a team and individual sport. It's individual in the sense that you get out there and it's just you, but you are also scoring points for your team. And if you happen to be an excellent wrestler and your team is so-so, you can still advance on your own and go to the state championships. The state championships are an individual competition, not a team competition. So following this Saturday's section teams, that's for the teams, will go to sections. After that, then season will kind of switch gears and they'll go into the individual competitions. They'll come back to the league level. They'll have individual competition to see who the individual champions from each league are, and then they will go to the state level. There you see some of the Del Oro JV wrestlers practicing the beginning position. They will assume when the match starts, both wrestlers are standing, called the neutral position. Once the match is underway and there's a stop, either for time or out of bounds or some other issue, they restart. One wrestler will be on the bottom, one wrestler will be on top. We'll get some expert commentary on the strategy and thought processes that go into how you decide when you want to be the guy on the bottom, when you want to be the guy on top. Del Oro squad getting ready, clearing the mat for the Rocklin JV. Once again, thanks for joining us. We're waiting for the start of the JV match, a prelude to the varsity match, Del Oro Golden Eagles versus Rocklin Thunder in Wrestling. I'm Rob McLean. Happy you could be with us here on Starstream Channel 4, part of our live local community cable casting. Our efforts to bring you stuff you won't see on any other channel. Things that relate to Southern Placer County. There's the Rocklin team circling the mat. And looks like the referee on the lower right hand side of your screen there, he's checking the Del Oro varsity wrestlers, I believe he's looking at fingernails and making sure those are of proper length so they don't hurt anybody, and checking for any abrasions, making sure there's nothing that's going to present a problem on the mat. If there's It's pretty rare, but if there's blood drawn during a match, someone bumps someone's nose and a little bloody nose happens, wrestling is of course stopped for safety's sake. It's pretty rare. Usually there are not a whole lot of injuries during matches. There's obviously no hitting, no slapping to the head allowed, no dangerous throws, as they call them. You can't pick your opponent up and body slam him to the mat. There's Rocklin coach Bruce Pearson getting ready for the match. Coach Pearson done an excellent job bringing Rocklin's program up to the level that it is fairly quickly here. Like we said earlier, Rocklin's won the past couple of section team titles, and they've sent several wrestlers to the state championships. Last year, Ryan Bergman, one of those wrestlers. Excellent job here by Coach Pearson. And of course, like we were saying before, Del Oro has rich wrestling tradition as well. And the two teams kind of are able to feed off of each other and compete, bring each program up to a higher level. The Del Oro, right now I have some stats on the Del Oro JV team. The JV team has won 161 matches this year and lost 59 matches. That's for Del Oro. We're still waiting for some Rocklin statistics. They're once again 161 and 59. In their dual matches, the team, that was individual, they are 13 and 1. They took first in the Ponderosa JV tournament, second in the Mesa Verde JV tournament, and first at the Jim Breaks JV tournament. Look here at Rocklin's JV squad warming up. Usually the way it works on a wrestling team is the top wrestler at a given weight class will be on the varsity team, of course, and usually the second best wrestler on the squad at that particular weight will wrestle on the JV team. So there's not a huge degree of separation between the JV and the varsity wrestlers at high school level. Quite often a kid on the JV team at one school might be a varsity wrestler at another school, just happens to have an outstanding wrestler ahead of him. Looks like we're going to be joined by one of the Rocklin coaches now. Okay, we're joined by Grant Depew, Rocklin, one of the coaches on the Rocklin wrestling staff. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
How you doing?
Thank you. Good. A little nervous, ready to get started.
All right. Can you hear me all okay? Mm-hmm. All right, we're all set. And tell us a little bit, we were talking, excuse me, before you joined us, Del Oro's having a good season this year with their JV squad. We're going to see the JV teams wrestle first. They're at 13 and 1. How's the Rocklin JV been doing so far?
Rocklin JV is undefeated so far this year. They're definitely in contention for the league title, for the JV league title.
Fantastic. What's their record? Or do we undefeated?
Undefeated.
Something to know.
Something to know. That's right.
That's all we need to know. Have they wrestled in any JV tournaments?
We like to. We've actually taken our JV team to a couple of varsity tournaments, and they've done successfully well at some varsity level wrestling there. So
wow.
We take them to some JV, some varsity. Whole goal of these guys is to get them prepared for this night to night, for when they become their juniors and seniors and they could make that varsity lineup.
Talk a little bit about how it works in wrestling with the JV and the varsity squads. The top wrestler on your team at any given weight class is obviously your varsity wrestler. The guy underneath him is on the JV team?
Correct. The guy directly beneath that varsity would be our first string JV guy. And there could be anywhere from 4 or 5 guys in one weight class. And you'll just have wrestle-offs at any point in time during practice to determine which JV guy is the toughest. Who's our number 1 JV? Who's our number 2 JV? And at any point in time, if you think you can take that guy above you, you just tell the coach and we get a match and see who's the top dog.
Okay. And that same applies to a JV kid thinks he's doing really well. Hey, I want to wrestle varsity. He can challenge the kid above him.
Correct. Right. Which does happen periodically from time to time. Sometimes in some situations, coaches just make a call, from what we see a kid working hard in practice and putting forth the effort that we want. But 99% of the time, it's all determined on the mat.
Fantastic. Well, it's a very very fair sport. It's one-on-one. You can't really complain if you win or you lose.
Nope. Everybody saw what happened out there. There's that other guy did something wrong.
Especially if you get pinned. You can't
that's
your way out of that.
That's the joy of this sport. That's why a lot of people are attracted to wrestling as opposed to football or soccer. I mean, you can have the game of your life in basketball and still come down and lose. But wrestling, you have the match of your life, and win or lose, it's kind of an individual thing out there.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about, the training that the kids go through in your program. What do they have to do? Where do you start the season? What do you do on a daily basis?
For the Rocklin program, during season, we run 2 different practices because we have too many kids for the size of room that we have. So we'll run a practice from 3 to 5 with our JV kids, and then a practice from 5 to 7 with more or less our varsity or a couple of guys that are pushing that varsity lineup. During preseason, we'll get a little bit of running and conditioning preseason, come October, an hour every day after school, just to get them prepared for the injury level and try and take that out of play. So our kids are conditioned when they step on the mat for that first day of practice.
All right.
We're starting tonight at the heavyweight matches.
Okay.
That was the random draw that we picked out of a hat. It was heavyweight was what came up.
And who do we have wrestling for Rocklin here?
For Rocklin here, we have a young man by the name of Paul Ryan.
All right. Right there. And what's Paul doing at this point in the match? He's looking to dive down, grab the opponent's legs. What does he do?
He's more or less feeling him out. He wants to find out where his strengths are. If the guy opens or shows this, he leaves his elbow out, or if the other guy's got his head down. You can kind of set up with some fakes to see where your opponent lies. If he's flat-footed, if he leaves one foot out in front. So right now, Paul's just trying to pummel for position so he can take advantage with some of the technique that he's been working hard on in practice.
Okay. And one of the terms you hear in my limited knowledge, you say shoot the guy. It's diving at his legs, getting his legs taken down that way.
Yep. That right there, Paul Ryan, our wrestler, just got tossed with what's called a head and arm. And it's a very efficient pinning combination. As you can see, it's very difficult to get out of. You actually cut off a lot of the breathe airways down there with that other 240-pound man on top of your face.
And he got him. All right. We're still waiting on the. We're still waiting. We have a proud parents here. One moment. That was Zach Huey for the Golden Eagles winning that match. His dad next to us up here, very excited about Zach's pin. And we're still waiting to get a Del Oro JV lineup. Coach Madden was working on that for maybe Coach Madden or Coach Sanchez will be able to get that for us.
Right now for Rocklin, we've got a young man by the name of Jeremy Stubbs, and he weighs in real light at probably about 96 pounds for a 103-pound weight class. Freshman gentleman, but wrestles with a lot of aggression out there. He's trying to get a bear hug squeeze on this guy right now. And a bear hug's just like what it sounds.
Everybody. And that was a nice throwdown. And walk us through the scoring a little bit on that. The previous heavyweight match, Del Oro got a pin. How many points do you get for a pin?
Del Oro got 16 points right there for a pin, which is the most that you can get for your team as an individual.
Wow.
A standard win, you know, by 2 or 3 points, something really close, you only get 3 points for your team. So a pin is a big deal as far as team score comes into play.
Right, that is huge. Yeah, it looks like he's working his back of his head there.
Yeah, the neck is a very fragile muscle, and it'll wear out pretty quick. The key things to wrestling really is fundamentals is keeping your elbows in close to your body and keeping your head up. If you can get somebody's elbows out away from their body or their head down, fatigue, tired, anything else, that's when you're really starting to get an advantage on another wrestler. A lot of things open up for you right there.
The buzzer sounds there. First period ends. It's 3 2-minute periods, correct?
For JV wrestling, it's 3 1-minute and 30-second periods.
Okay.
Stop time every time they go out of bounds or any infraction the ref has to blow his whistle for it, stop time. And then varsity, it's 3 2-minute periods.
So Jeremy looks pretty good for Rocklin here so far.
Yeah, energy level's really high.
It looks like he was. Now, when the wrestler starts on the bottom. If he's able to get up and break
free,
the man's on top grass, how many points do
that's called an escape, and he gets 1 point. And to get up and break free, you have to turn and become face-to-face with the other wrestler.
Okay.
Right there, the Golden Eagle wrestler, he put in what's called a full Nelson. And that's an illegal move, which scores 1 point for Rockland in that situation. It's illegal because of the neck pressure and injury situations that arise.
Looks like the Golden Eagle wrestle there. It's got him around the shoulders and around the back of the leg.
He's looking to do a cradle situation right there, but he didn't get his body to the proper side.
Looks like Jeremy reversed that. Turned the tables on him.
To the same pin that happened against Paul Ryan. This is a head and arm pinning combination right there. Jeremy, legally, he has the head and the arm, and he just gives it a squeeze. He's not allowed to have just the head and lock his hands. He has to have an arm above the elbow included up there. Again, a difficult pinning combination to get out of.
That looks tough. Not a lot of fun for the Del Oro wrestler there.
So both of these two JV teams are really fighting for the league title right now, for a JV standpoint.
Right, yeah. Del Oro came in, like we said, 13-1 on their JV squad. So a couple of quick pins for the Thunder there, Coach.
Yeah.
Must be pretty excited.
Well, so far so good, you know, but there's 14 wrestlers that need to go out there and do their thing, and at any one point in time, tides can turn. It's a really emotional sport when you get out there and you're supporting your teammates that you sweat, you cry with, and everything else.
Talk a little, when you're sitting on the bench there, things aren't going well for your team. That can bring you down, right? I mean,
it definitely affects the whole energy level of the team, and as the next wrestler getting ready to wrestle, watching that can kind of affect your mind game when you watch your good friend out there get beat up or lose a really close match. You know, it kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit.
So the Rocklin wrestler here, he's ready to go. He's sprinting back to the middle of the ring.
That's what we want to see, conditioning coming into a play. And just the overall excitement to get out there and wrestle. You spend so many hours working hard that this is really the pleasureful part of the sport. Whether you win or lose, the wrestling out there is why we do it.
Sure, and everyone's watching.
There's nothing to hide out there, that's for sure.
What's he doing here, Coach?
Right now, he's trying to control the Del Oro's wrists right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to control a wrist and apply forward pressure. A lot of tilts or pinning combinations can come out of that. And controlling a wrestler's wrist frees them up for standing up or getting a reversal. If you've got their wrist, hey, they're not going to go anywhere. This Del Oro wrestler is doing a great job of getting his hips out and up the whole time. Constant movement from that Del Oro wrestler. That was good. And the fans.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get maybe Jerry Lyons up here and have him give us a hand getting that Del Oro JV lineup.
The fans keep trickling tonight. We're looking for a packed house tonight.
Oh, I think absolutely it should be pretty full. I think everyone at Del Oro's real excited. Everyone at Rocklin as well. So yeah, even if you say you could conceivably be a better wrestler than the guy you're going to face, but you see three of your buddies go out there get pinned, you're sitting there thinking, oh man, it kind of brings you down and you might not wrestle as well as you would have.
Or you might just lose focus on what you need to go out there and do. You start worrying about everybody else. You start worrying about the rest of your team and the team score.
It's like we have an equipment loss.
Yeah, those things are only Velcro down there around the chin. They often slip out. Rocklin wrestler taking a couple of shot attempts there to no avail. Del Oro's doing a great job of defense right now. That comes with hand position and moving your feet.
So if you're just joining us, once again, this is Del Oro versus Rocklin. This is the JV wrestling match. Will be followed by the varsity match. Right now we're at the 112s, Coach?
Correct, the 112-pound weight class. 3 matches into it.
With Rocklin coach Grant Depew giving us some expert commentary. Oh, wow.
That was nice.
Del Oro scored 2 points on that one.
Yep, 2 points on that one.
And there's two, if you're new to wrestling, there's kind of 2 scores you got to keep in mind. The score of the individual match that's going on at the moment, and then the team score overall. So a wrestler could win his match 6-2, and then that translates into how many team points?
3 team points.
3 team points. So
if you win a match by more than 7 points, 8 or above, then you get 4 team points for your team. If you can win a match by 15 points, they'll stop the match by a technical fall. If you're technically superior to that other wrestler, we're going to stop this right here, and you get 5 points for your team right there. And then a pin would be a 6-point score for your team. So even if you're in a situation where you're getting dominated by another wrestler, you don't want to give up. You still want to wrestle. If not for you, I mean, you know this one, yeah, I'm not going to win this match. But I'm going to try and give them as few points as I can to try and help my team. Well, and the competitive nature of this sport, nobody likes to get pinned.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. No matter what, you're always going to fight that off. And just really working him across the mat there.
Yeah, he's got
his arm behind the back.
What's called a bar arm or a chicken wing. Oh, he just lost the move. Incredibly tight pressure on the shoulder once you start twisting that one around.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Shows the flexibility the kids are able to.
Kids are like rubber bands, I think.
That was a 1-point escape for Rocklin.
1-point escape.
Looks like he's going to bring him down. Two-point takedown for Del Oro.
That Rocklin wrestler, he just needed to get his hips up right there, and he could have reversed that. That was a 5-3. That came down to the wire. That takedown secured the match for that Del Oro wrestler. That's 3 points for their team.
So another win for Del Oro. There's Coach Pearson Del Oro, they've got 2 pins so far. That's 12-3. They're up 15-0. Maybe I'm.
No, they've got 1 pin so far,
pin?
and then that one right there. So that puts them 9-6. Rocklin got the pin at the.
Oh, they pin at 103. I'm sorry. You're right.
I'm sorry. And Del Oro, Russell, Betting Court.
And we're here at 119s.
119s. This is Tyler Stotts for Rocklin.
Yeah. Here they're kind of feeling each other out.
Now I can't hear you.
Kind of feeling each other out.
Yeah.
And keeping things in the middle of the mat. Kind of a hand battle at this point. Rocklin wrestler goes down, try and get something going. Now, is that a position he wants to be in on his knees?
No, not really. You don't have a lot of mobility on your knees down there. You want to stay on your toes as much as you can.
Now, in wrestling, you know, some of the kids are taller, thinner, some of them a little shorter style. Is there a preferred body type of wrestling? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. It's whatever you can use to your advantage. If you're a tall, lanky guy, there's plenty of moves, cradles and so forth, and you got a long reach, so you can do more ankle picks from the neutral position. And if you're a shorter, stockier guy, you know, there's a lot more stuff that you can use there as far as double leg shots and your elbows are in. And there's really no advantage to either. It's just personal wrestler preference. I know when I wrestled, I never liked wrestling the tall, slender kid. I always had a hard time with the length of the arms. They seemed to be everywhere all at one time. That was a great counter by that Del Oro wrestler to that head and arm throw.
Scored 2 points on that one?
I'm not sure if the ref awarded the 2 or if it was all in passing. To score the 2, you have to secure control, and they kept rolling on that, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looked like the Rocklin wrestler had the takedown, and there's kind of working the head.
Yep.
He's got a hold of his ankles. The Del Oro wrestler looks kind of caught him
with the leg and a wrist right there, and now he's just going to apply pressure and get his hips up, and Rocklin's got to try and keep his shoulders off the mat. Well wrestled that round.
Saved by the bell somewhat there.
Somewhat.
He looked pretty strong. I don't think he was going to. What are some of the when you have the decision to go on the bottom or the top there on the restart, what are some of the strategies that go and just whatever you're better at?
A lot of it comes down to whatever you're better at right there and whatever your coaches like to practice. Typically, the bottom person, if you're down by points, it's most common that you would go down, you'd pick bottom in referee's position, then on top. Now that was a 1-point escape right there by Rocklin, but he took a poor shot with his head down and kept his elbows out. He needs to circle to secure.
Oh, sorry, Coach.
It's okay.
Some delays. So I kind of left in the middle there. When if you're down in the match, you go down thinking you'll be able to get up, escape, score some points.
Score 1 point there to get a reversal and be on top and score 2 points. But again, it comes down to the strength of the wrestler. You know, if you're really good on top and you've got some stuff that you like to work, then by all means, go to wherever your strengths are. And usually the wrestlers will look to their coach in their corner to make that call, because the coaches, I mean, we can see what's available and what the other wrestlers presenting, and if we think that they're gassing out or running out of steam.
Looks like they're both trying to work the wrist holds there.
Wrist holds right there and head position. Looks like Del Oro got another 3-point victory. Oh no, we're just going.
Oh yeah. So that was 119's the win for Del Oro.
And this is how quick or how a few dominant wrestlers can control your lineup. Del Oro just won 2 matches, but if Rocklin gets a pin, we're still tied. So,
right.
I mean, you can win 2 matches and 1 match can still bring you right back up on the score.
Looks like, what do we have?
So we have Tyler Renner coming out here for Rocklin. He is definitely one of our hardest working in the room, as well as the most quiet wrestler in the room.
Oh, really?
Push-ups and sit-ups all day long. He's going to grab onto you. It's really tough to get him to let go. And he's really motivated by several other wrestlers that have found success even at the college level with similar disabilities to what Tyler has.
I don't know if the camera got that Tyler came in using a wheelchair to get around.
Tyler doesn't have the use of the lower half of his legs. Tyler's gotten a couple of wins already this year. I think he's only wrestled 5 or 6 times, and I think he's about 500 right now on his season. Half of the time he wins.
Well, you know, man, good for Tyler.
Really encouraging, and really the whole campus rallies around him. Everybody supports him, you know, for what he's doing and the statement that he's making. Real positive, upbeat kid.
Right there, looks like the Del Oro's trying to wedge underneath him.
Del Oro kid's trying to get a half Nelson in, under the arm and over the top of the head.
Man.
So the ref right there, he was counting near fall. If he counts for 2 seconds, if your back is at a 45-degree angle and he counts for 2 seconds, you get 2 points.
Okay.
If he's at a 45-degree angle and he gets to 5 seconds, you get 3 points right there.
Looks like we're having a little technical difficulty up here in the booth, but picture's back now. Tyler working the ankles there. Right there, even though there's not a lot of movement, both wrestlers are obviously exerting themselves the most they can. So even though it doesn't seem like anything might be happening in the moment, it's a battle the entire length of the match, nonetheless.
And the entire body, you know,
Yeah.
even those situations, you're flexed out down to your toes. You're trying to give it your all, and wherever you can draw that energy and strength from. So
when you're the wrestler on the bottom, you're kind of stomach down on the mat. What are you trying to prevent? Prevent him from coming across your neck, or
Coming underneath your arms. You want to keep him from coming underneath your arms right there. When you're on the mat, you want to try and get your hips up as quick as possible. Again, you don't have very much movement when you're down there laying on your belly.
Yeah.
So as soon as you can get your knees underneath you, then slowly get a foot or two. So right now the Del Oro wrestler's up 8-0. If the match ended right now, the Del Oro wrestler would score 4 points for his team, not a 3, and that's called a major decision.
Tyler looking obviously for the pin, but also short of that, trying to get at least 1 point
Yep, to
prevent.
minimize his losses.
Talk a little bit about Ian. What are some of the common? I saw there the knee on the Del Oro wrestler, precarious angle. Is that a common wrestling injury, a knee injury, or not really?
Knee injuries are common wrestling injuries. Yeah, I mean, the foot gets twisted in odd ways, and depending on how soft the wrestling mat is that you're wrestling on, every mat is different. Brand new mats are sometimes really, really soft and squishy, and you have a habit of having your feet stick, you know, when you go to drive, your feet will get stuck, or as you're twisting and trying to pivot, you know, and some mats are really hard, where you just slide right across the surface of them, or you bounce when they take you down to the mat. Knee injuries are common. Shoulders are another common injury for wrestlers because there's
I can imagine
a lot of pressure applied there. It's amazing. Typically when you go to a wrestling tournament, at the end of the match, if you win the match, they want you to go over and sign your bout sheet. They want you to sign to make sure that you're the proper wrestler that won the match, you know, to make sure that everything goes right to the scorer's table. That's got to be one of the most difficult things about wrestling is you exert yourself for 6 minutes using all the grip that you have, and they expect you to hold onto this pencil and write your name neat enough for them to read it. It's autographs definitely not what wrestlers are used to.
kind of indicates how exhausting a match is if you can't even write your name afterwards. So you got the 8-0 victory there, Coach?
8-0 victory. That should be a major decision. Yep, and he got 4 points.
But a strong effort by Tyler there. Just couldn't get anything going offensively.
35-point class from Rocklin, Jason and from Del Oro, Tyler.
So Tyler from Del Oro. Who do we have up for Rocklin?
We have Jason Ronzani up from Rocklin. He's a freshman wrestler who typically wrestles at 125s for us, but wanted to crack the lineup and give it a shot at 130s.
How often does that happen, Coach? A wrestler, maybe, you know, we're both 120. Yeah, I haven't been 125, so we won't talk about that. But, you know, we're both 125. You're beating me every day. I say, you know, I want to give 130s a try. Maybe a little smaller, but at least, you know, I'll crack the lineup.
Yep, maybe I'll be quicker. Oh yeah, it happens quite a bit, and you have to size up your team to see where you can fit in. If you've got strengths that the 130-pounder doesn't have, you know, I think I can take this guy because what he's good at, I can counter really well, or he can't stop what I'm good at. It happens, or sometimes you'll drop down a weight class. You'll decide, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit of extra running in the off season, or after practice, I'll go out and jog for 45 minutes and drop down a weight class right there. Happens quite a bit, the shifting around for the first part of the season. Then during the middle of the season, it doesn't happen very often. Wrestlers get used to, you know, the hierarchy kind of develops itself. And by the end of the season, those wrestlers that put in every day and are there for practice over Christmas holidays and everything else, you know, they start to get an edge up on their peers who don't work quite as hard. And you get some changes like right now at the end of the season. Ooh, that was a nice wicked crossface right there. Wrestler basically takes his forearm and comes across the nose and the jaw of the bottom wrestler. A lot of open noses right there.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit. Not too many injuries during a match, but occasionally a guy will catch a nose and Need some blood on the mat and stop the action for that. But no punching. When they're both standing there in the neutral position, they're both standing there in both upright. Sorry, neutral. There's a little bit of head not slapping. What's the line there?
The mindset right there is you can be relatively physical as long as you're using it to set up a technique. I can't sit there and hammer down on your head over and over and over again and never take a shot towards your legs. And that would be a flagrant misconduct foul. But if I'm allowed to snap your head and move it in a different direction or go up and reach towards your eyes to get you to blink and flinch for that 1 second that I can drop my hips and take in for a shot. And it kind of boils down to a judgment call on the referee according to what they consider to be flagrant or too hard.
Right. So we got the Del Oro lineup. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate that. At heavyweights, that was for Del Oro, it was Zach Hewley. We already said that. At 103s, it was Danny Vickers. 112s, Jared Petretti. 119s, Russell Betancourt. 125s, Brandon Johnson. 130s was Tyler Kenichi.
That's who we're at right now, Tyler.
And that's where we're wrestling now, correct?
Yep.
130s?
130s.
So Tyler. And it looks like Tyler's in a little bit of trouble there. The Rocklin wrestler gets him on his back. That's
saved by the bell.
Wow. That's as close as I think I've seen. I mean, it seemed when now we'll get into this. What is a pin?
A pin is any part of the scapulas, shoulder blades touching the ground. It could be the inside portion of each shoulder blade right next to your spine, or it could be out across the top of your shoulders. You know, you can have the top of both shoulders down, or you can have the insides of both shoulders down, or basically just plain flat, you know. Okay. But it's the scapula is what makes that call.
It has to be both of them?
Both of them have to be down for 2 seconds.
Okay.
And that time varies according to the referee. You know, the ref's not sitting there 1,000, 2, 1,000. It's down, it's solid, stuck down. He's not moving anywhere. Okay, that's a pin.
Looks pretty flat there, Coach.
Looks pretty flat to me.
There we go. Got it.
So that was nice. That one match right there closed the gap for Rocklin. Del Oro leads with a 16-12 advantage. The nice thing about this sport is you're not hiding behind pads or a mask or anything else. And after every single match, the wrestler goes over and shakes the opponent's coach's hand, you know. Thank you, you know, for all the work you put into that young man. You know, thanks for letting me get a chance to wrestle. You know, I appreciate your efforts as a coach to do what you have to do to make this sport happen. Some people have a hard time finding coaches for wrestling.
So it's 12-16 now?
12-16.
That score right?
Yep.
12-16 in favor of Del Oro.
Del Oro just flat out muscled us over right there. Oh.
It's like either wrestler could go down at any moment. This one, woo! Oh, no.
And we might get a pin right here.
That's real close. Real close. Referee diving into there trying to get...
And the referee has to make extra sure that he's got both shoulders. He can visually see both shoulders down, you know, because sometimes there's an arm stuck underneath there, or wrestler does this, he rolls one shoulder up, then rolls the other shoulder up, back and forth.
That was it.
Looked like he ran out of air. That was Quinn Kunberger for Rocklin.
That one, it almost seemed, it happened so fast, almost, it's not that the Rocklin wrestler was necessarily overpowered or outclassed or it just kind of turned out he got, you know, something real quick happens to you and you might be better than the guy and he pinned you.
Yep, you can get caught in bad situations, you know, and that's the thing is there could be 10 seconds left in the match, and right when you think, oh, I've got this one secured in the bag, you know, oh, wait a minute, yeah. I'm on my back. Now what do I do?
And That was the 130. That was the 135s.
That was the 135s.
That was Joe Stafford with the pin for the Golden Eagles. Way to go, Joe. Nice job. We got to be fair and balanced here, Coach.
I understand. This is really
a lot of Del Oro fans watching tonight too. So.
And this is all about the wrestlers. I don't want there to be a home court advantage or a home mic. I don't know any of the Del Oro wrestlers, so there's my apologies on that one right there.
Oh,
I'd
no.
like to say something nice about them academically or technique, but we have Rory Cutbirth right now for Rockland.
He's facing off against Ryan Harold at the 140-pound weight class. Yeah, you know, it seems like it's pretty honorable. Everyone shakes hands. There's not a lot of too much trash talk anyway, not that we've seen so far yet.
No, there's not too much trash talking, but there could be some, you know, some dirty wrestling going on out there when needs be, and it's an emotional sport, you know. For the most part, coaches try and keep a handle on their wrestlers, and the wrestlers know what the expectations are. You know, you're out there representing your school in front of several hundred people tonight. You know, if you throw a temper tantrum, it shows bad on our program. So would you please keep your emotions in check?
Yeah, it's almost it's tough because you're almost it's almost a fight in a sense, wrestling front, but it's not. It's a sport. You can't slap or kick or bite or any of that stuff.
Sport's definitely not for everybody. You got to enjoy being close. You got to enjoy the contact and the sweat, the one-on-one, combative spirit.
And we're going into the second period now.
Second
this,
period just started.
140-pound match. Ryan Harold wrestling for the Golden Eagles. Looks like Rocklin wrestler just kind of laying on him.
Rocklin wrestler started on the bottom, yeah, and we want to try and keep his head down so we can use our hips to do that. And that was it. He was laying on him. As much pressure as you can on that head.
Looks like he's trying to work, get the body coming, get the opponent's arm coming across, control both the Del Oro wrestler's arms. He's doing pretty good, Coach.
Yeah, he is. He's staying in good position right now.
He looked up to Coach Pearson there and said, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, coaches are always hollering. And a lot of times as a coaching situation, as a coach, you'll holler for the wrestler to do something. By the time he looks up and realizes what you're talking about, the situation's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they've flurried to another state in the match, and now you're calling the next move. So it takes some intuitive thinking on the wrestler's own part to feel it out and know what's available. But sometimes you get a situation or you get a free point in the match. Yeah, look to your coaches.
And talk a little bit about your wrestling background, if you don't mind. Where did you do your high school wrestling?
No, I did my high school wrestling for Ponderosa. I'm an alumni up in the Shingle Springs area. And Ponderosa had a history when I was with the team. I graduated in '96. That they had 104 consecutive dual meet wins. So
wow.
104 times they came out against another team just like this, and they did not lose. And that spanned it over 7 or 8 years worth of wrestling. Where Ponderosa wrestlers, they just didn't lose. You know, they went out there as a team and they won as a team, and it kind of built up a reputation. And Del Oro was actually the team that came into Ponderosa in '96 and beat us and stopped our consecutive record. And they beat us that year by 2 points. It came down to one match at the very end.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a real thrill right there. And you know, the joy of that is, man, you're emotional, you're excited. The place was packed with people. It was so hot in there. You know, and Del Oro came out on top that year, you know, and it was really a nice thing. So Del Oro has been in these situations before where they're the underdog and they're stepping up to wrestle, and they've done well in the past. And Rocklin right now, they're trying to defend a title. You know, they're trying to lay it all on the line. You know, is Del Oro hungry enough? Is Rocklin want to defend? Are they willing to fight hard enough? And it's at home, so you always know that the home team's going to come out and wrestle with a lot of emotion, a lot of spirit. You know, their mothers are there, their parents are there, their peers in their classes. You see them go through all the cutting weight on campus and the running that they do. when your buddies want to go to Taco Bell after school and you can't go with them. No, man, I got to go for a jog. Thanks, though. 4 months out of the year, you're definitely focused as a wrestler.
And in programs like, looks like we have a pin, no.
Not yet. We got a near fall situation, though. That was a reversal and some near fall. Could definitely help with the Rocklin score if we can get a pin here.
He's working it, trying to get Ryan down.
Of course, test of wills and stamina.
Yeah, it must get exhausting when the other guy's just laying on you. You can't breathe. After a while, it's...
Sure is.
There you go.
Wears you out. So far, the conditioning level on both these teams looks to be where it needs to be for this point in the season. Nobody's really huffing and puffing major or anything else there.
Now, what does it take from you wrestled at Ponderosa, you're involved now with Rocklin's program, an up-and-coming program. What do you think, what are the ingredients that make a successful overall wrestling program?
I think coaches are definitely a key ingredient there as far as their ethics and their belief and the amount of time that they're willing to spend and put into their program. Coach Pearson, I mean, he breathes wrestling. He will keep these wrestlers, they'll do a summer thing, they'll do a spring wrestling thing, a couple days a week, not to burn anybody out, but mat time is so crucial for the development of a wrestler. And wrestlers don't have this at home. You can't just roll out the mat in your garage and have all your buddies over and, okay, let's practice. So really the amount of time that the coaches are willing to put in to develop a program, as well as the feeder schools. I mean, we're really fortunate here at Rocklin that we've got Springview and Granite Oaks, some schools that have good junior high school programs and coaches where they're getting 50 or 60 guys out at the junior high level. Pure numbers. You lose guys over the course of the season, if they're not doing what they want to do or injuries.
Right.
So for a successful program, it's definitely got to be coaching. It's definitely got to be will and desire on an athlete's part, so a supportive parent. My gosh, you come home after practice, you're so tired, and your parents are saying, clean up your room, do this, do that. It's just typical high school stuff. And, you're maybe dieting, and you're not eating as much as you need to eat, expending as many calories. And so the parents put up with a lot of emotional stuff on your end of the stick, where you go out just like this. Hey, you're dominating the match. Mike Knight for Rocklin was, and he gets flipped onto his back. He's going to go home. He's not going to be a happy guy. And mom and dad have got to deal with that. So you got to have a supportive family background. Woo! Saved by the bell.
Saved.
Del Oro was about ready to secure that one and wrap it up. He's about ready to throw the legs in down low.
That's Chris Sainsbury for the Golden Eagles at 145s now.
Yep, okay. Mike Knight for Rocklin. This is 145. And it all depends, on your team. Like Mike Knight happens to be a junior right now at Rocklin, and Sainsbury, I don't know what year in school he is. He could be a freshman or sophomore. It depends on the level of wrestler that's above you. You can have a guy that's a state champion.
Yeah.
And you're going to be JV until you're a senior, You're not going to be able to crack into this guy's lineup, so you might have to go up or down. Like tried a risky throw right there, and he got caught. Del Oro wrestler dropped his hips.
Yep. And at this point, like we said before, it doesn't look like anything's happening, but trust me, both those guys are expending every ounce of energy they have to either try and hold their opponent down or keep their
It's a game of inches right now. It's a game of inches.
Just a crack of daylight there between the mat and his shoulders. Referee down there trying, he got out of it.
And a good flurry. Whoa, wait a minute. What a great flurry by the Rocklin wrestler right there. Spend a minute on his back and get out. Get on top.
That was pretty tough to come out from being underneath, and now he
sure wasn't to have the energy to do that.
Yeah. Looks like he in the driver's seat. Well, maybe not. Now it doesn't look so good.
He is if he just pick his hips up. Yeah, Rocklin wrestler had what's called a leg right in right there, and so he was still in a secure position of control. this leg wrapped around the inside of
He
the other.
wasn't in danger of being pinned there.
Nope. One of the things that hasn't come into play so far today is the mat position. You know, you can have a great move and be right on the edge of the mat and not get it when you go out of bounds. Most of these wrestlers are doing a really good job of staying in the middle.
Wow. Tough takedown. Tough to tell who came out with the advantage. Looks like Rockland's got the advantage there.
Oh, had the advantage. Rockland wrestler needs to get his hips up, pick up that ankle.
Well, so you're talking a lot, and I've heard other wrestling coaches talking a lot about the hip positioning. It's your center of gravity. Is that the key? What does that mean in the wrestling world?
Hips in relation to the other wrestler, you know, because there's so much power and torque in your hips, you know, your legs driving your hips. And you, typically you don't want to have them down on the mat. In most situations, you want to have your hips higher than the other wrestler. I can't say in most situations. At times, you know.
Right.
So let's say get your hips up.
The weight or the center of your body is kind of your.
Because it's a balance thing, you know. You might be on your toes, just barely trying to hold on. Where if they nudge into you, you're going to fall to your side, and then you're over, you know. Wow, that was a great match right there.
Yeah, that was grueling. We're getting tired up here just watching, folks. If you're just joining us once again, thank you. And I'm Rob McLean. I'm with Grant Depew, Rocklin wrestling coach. We're watching Rocklin versus Del Oro. This is the JV match. It's going to be followed by the varsity match, strangely enough. Who would have guessed? And that was the match we just saw was 145s.
Mike Knight for Rocklin.
And Chris Sainsbury for the Golden Eagles. Who won that? I'm sorry, how did that one turn out?
Chris Sainsbury won that one 15-8.
Okay.
So that's only a 7-point win, so that's a regular decision. He scored 3 points for his team right there.
Overall, the match is at 18 for the Thunder, 25 for the Eagles.
And this is Kevin Reynolds right now for Rocklin, wrestling at the 152-pound weight class.
He's facing Matt Giove. I'm sorry, Matt. It's Giove. So, Matt and your family, we'll call you Matt for the rest of the match. Matt G. And like we were talking earlier, these are two of the top JV squads in the area. Del Oro came in at 13-1, I think.
Yep, and Ponderosa, there we go. That's my background right there. Rocklin has an undefeated JV season as well.
And I got some stats on these Del Oro kids. Pull those out. Matt is so far 9-4 on the year. 9 wins, 4 losses. He scored 46 points and had 24 scored against him. So, Matt doing quite well for himself this year.
Sounds like a successful season.
Forgot about my Del Oro stat sheet there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Rocklin coaches aren't organized enough to get you a stat sheet. My apology on that.
Yeah,
my computer was down today when I was trying to print it out.
They're too busy practicing. You guys are too busy working out and
With 2
practicing
practices,
and taking care of business to worry about that. Talk a little bit.
That right there was a technical violation by the Del Oro wrestler. He locked his hands in the top position when Rocklin was still on the mat. And locked his hands. Now that could either be locking them by grabbing a hold of his own hands or merely touching his hands on top of each other.
Really? You can't do that?
That is also considered a locked hands. The only time you can do that, where you can grab on your own hand or touch them on top of each other, is when we're on our feet in a neutral position, where nobody has control, or if you're doing a pinning combination, where I've got you on your back and I'm getting ready to pin you, then I can lock my hands right there. So that resulted in a 1 point for Rocklin.
folks starting to trickle in. Jim's filling up pretty nicely here. I noticed a lot of the kids before that are waiting for their match to happen. They're on the sides. They're moving. They're boxing. They're dancing. That just they get loose, burning off excess adrenaline,
Nervous energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of that. We want to get the blood flow going to all our muscles so we don't cramp up when we get out there. It's getting us focused on what we need to do. And in order for you to get the best performance out of your muscles, you need to break a sweat. You need to be sweating when you go out there on the match. That means the blood is already there to the muscles to get some more potassium and sodium for recovery and get the oxygen ready to go.
When your team goes into a match like tonight, how much scouting do you do, or does it? I mean, you kind of see Del Oro in general. They kind of like to do these kind of moves. Here's what we're going to do, guys.
Yeah.
Or does it get more specific? Hey, at 152, here's what you got to do against this guy.
It gets that specific. And with these two teams and the history of these two teams battling against each other year after year for the league title, and the coaches knowing each other that well and how the other guy likes to coach from seeing each other at tournaments and clinics and everything else. I mean, you get a feel for what the team itself likes to do. And then, you pay attention when you're at the tournament this last weekend at Foothill and the Sacramento Memorial Auditorium. You're watching, you see a Del Oro guy come up, and as a Rocklin coach, I look over, I figure out who he is, I figure out what he likes to lead with and what his stance is and where his position, what I think our strengths are at that weight class. And there's a lot of scouting, there's a lot of strategy that goes into a match like this, where it's going to come down to the wire in the varsity match. There's going to be 1 or 2 point separation or a 1 match separation between winners and losers tonight.
Yeah, I hate to give anything away.
Oh, it's definitely up in the air tonight. Definitely. Individual wrestlers can have good days, they can have bad days, and sometimes you got things on your mind, off the mat that kind of distract you, so you never know what's going to happen when you get out there.
Working the edge of the mat there. What's the rule? The majority of the body is
whatever the points are that's holding the weight, So if I'm on my knees and my knees are out of bounds, then that would be out of.
Okay.
If I've got the weight on my knees and my hands are in and my knees are out, then I'd be out of bounds.
Okay.
Or if I'm up on my toes and I've got my toes in the match on that white part of the circle, and that's all that's on the white part, the rest of my body is out of bounds.
Okay.
If the weight's on my toes, if the ref feels that the pressure's on my toes, we're still in bounds right there.
And this match so far,
We got a 9-2
Okay.
in Rocklin's favor so far tonight, or for this match with Kevin Reynolds and Matt.
152-pound weight class for Rocklin, Kevin Reynolds.
So that was a nice job by Kevin Reynolds at 152. Beat Matt Giavi. Takes Matt's season record down to 9-5. Good effort by Matt, though.
And we're really fortunate to have a league that we're in right now where there's really 4 major powerhouses out of the 6 teams in the league, or 7 teams in the league. With Wood Creek, they have a lot of tough wrestlers. Natomas has a lot of tough wrestlers. Del Oro, they've always got a tough program. Rocklin's got a tough program. We're Rocklin, we've run it the last 2 years, and they're out to get us, And so a lot of these guys, they're going to face each other again in the league tournaments. So this is really, I might lose this one, but I'm going to come back and get you in 2 weeks, And so it really kind of can fuel the fire for one team or the other, or individual wrestlers.
Here we're at 160s. Todd Ryland for the Eagles.
And Mike Chavez for Rockland.
Mike got out of bounds. Talk a little bit about that, Coach. Tuesday night, of course, the match down in Natomas, unfortunately. Rockland wasn't able to win that one. Kind of put you in a little bit precarious position varsity-wise for winning the league title.
Correct.
What do you think happened there Tuesday night? I was there, uneducated, non-expert observer. Seemed like the Thunder were maybe a little flat.
Hey, you called it right there.
Okay.
I'm glad that An observer could tell, because as coaches, we were fired up as to why our guys thought that we were going to walk in and cruise through, and no, not a big deal, not a big deal. And Natomas, they really showed up to wrestle. You know, they were out to get us that night, and they did. They out-wrestled us pure and simple. We lost that one by 3 points on Tuesday night.
Yeah,
one
tough
match
loss.
either way.
Seemed like things kind of got rolling in the wrong direction, and
Natomas,
the more it went that way, Natomas just got more fired up, and
Natomas
Rocklin
came
wasn't
out,
able to come
and they
back.
won like the first 5
Yeah.
or 6 matches. Natomas came out and won, and they weren't big wins, you know, but there was enough to take the wind out of Rocklin's steam.
Right. Like we were saying before, you might be better than another guy, but you watch 2, 3 of your buddies lose, you kind of get down. The other's team is way fired up. Hey, we might have a chance to beat Rocklin. We thought they were going to walk away with this thing, and
Definitely.
we're still in it.
Yeah, and kudos to Natomas. They really wrestled a great match on Tuesday night.
Yeah, they were fired up. They were ready to go, like you said.
In their gym. You know,
Yep.
Had some pride going on there. And so yesterday at practice was really a kind of a tough day for Rocklin, because we had to rebuild ourselves, you know, from such an emotional loss like that to, okay, now we got to go in and face Del Oro at home. Del Oro is such an outstanding team, and legitimately we could have a 3-way tie here for the league title.
Sure.
And that is if Rocklin beats Del Oro tonight and Del Oro beats Natomas next week. And you know, that's feasibly possible due to where the strengths of wrestlers are. You know, some teams have got stud wrestlers in certain weight classes, and they counterbalance wrong or good for other teams' lineups, and that's the strategy there.
Right. You could have overall maybe more talent, but the way things break down, you're super good guys. You know, they have their really good guys where your average guys are, and it just.
Or your average Joe goes out there and gets a couple of pins. And all of a sudden, yay, you know, our average guys are really stepping up for us, you know, and our key wrestlers, you know, or our star wrestlers are really just kind of maintaining right now. Interesting thing on Mike Chavez, the Rocklin wrestler, he's got to be the most polite guy on the team. He is always pleased and thank you after every practice. He comes up and shakes Coach's hand and thanks for all your effort and energy you put into my practice today. And it's really a pleasure, you know, to actually have a kid that thinks that, yeah, you know, I'm spending time out here with you, and it's taken away from my home life, and it's taken away from all the other things that I can do as a coach or as an individual. You know, but we're here for the kids, and we're here for that thanks. You know, a young man says, thank you for your effort, you know, and hopefully they learn something from you today or over the course of a season.
Well, that's a great. Looks like Mike was trying to get the cradle there.
Sure was. Now he's going to a trip. That's a tough situation where hips was what determined that one. Del Oro wrestler had his hips in better position.
He lets him up.
Lets him go. Del Oro thinks that he's tougher than our Rocklin kid, Mike Chavez, on his feet right now.
So you let him get the 1 point for getting up, thinking, I'll be able to score more, taking you down again.
Correct.
And it worked out for him.
We have a tie score right now at 6-6. You know, and it could be one of those things where Rocklin wrestlers may be gassed out. Maybe he's running out of steam. You know, so, hey, I'm going to let him go. Ooh, that was a quick move.
Mike with a nice move there. Yeah. He's got him in trouble.
No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Oh. All of that to no avail. Here we go.
Oh, he got him there.
And he's getting some near fall. If I was Mike Chavez, I'd just stay right there. Don't work for the pin, man. Just hang on.
So he's only got 5 seconds left. 2 point advantage.
Don't make a mistake. Time.
He tied it up.
Nope. It's so loud in here, the ref can't even hear the buzzer.
And looks like time ran out right after the Del Oro wrestler scored the 2 point takedown with
the 2 point reversal, but he didn't get any near fall because time ran out right there.
so
We've got to, of course, clarify that at the table to make sure all the coaches saw it, but I think most of us in the gym saw that time was out before he got it.
Yeah. I don't know if the time buzzer went off, it didn't go off, or it's too loud to hear it. But time was out, and that was a remarkable last-second move by Todd Reinland to the Golden Eagles there after Mike, made his great move to go up 2 points with 10 seconds left, and then Todd responded with less than 5 seconds left.
Great last-second effort right there. Nice flurry, nice bit of heart. Hey, there's 3 seconds left, and you got me on my back, but I'm not done yet.
And Todd is at 20-4 on the year so far. Having a real good season for Todd.
Wow.
106 points for. Only 22 have been scored against him. So.
Well, that's a great season for any wrestler right now with only 4 losses, and Mike Chavez is hanging with them.
Looks like they're getting put 3 more points on the board for Mike Chavez. No, they're not. Oh.
There we go. Yep, because of that last reversal in the near fall that Mike Chavez got, that put him up in the lead. Del Oro reversed him, but didn't get enough points to secure it.
Okay. All right.
And this is coming down to the wire. We have
scorekeeper's got to help me out here. I don't know what's going on. Come on, scorekeeper. You got novices.
and it gets tough up here when you're removed from it and you're trying to look and, hey, have they updated the score quick enough? Did they press the right buttons?
Yeah, like you were saying, Coach, 24-25?
24-25 with 3 matches left. Anybody's ball game right now.
171s. We got Jack McReady for the Eagles.
And Matt Bennett for Rocklin.
So McReady gets 2 points for Del Oro there. So in your high school career, were there certain guys you kept seeing all 4 years that gave you fits, or?
Yeah, there was a couple. You know, there were some rivalries that definitely occurred right there.
Looks like
he's
got him in a good position there.
This would definitely be a good victory if that's a 6-point pin if he can get it. Of course, Del Oro wrestler is giving it his all.
Jack is at 8-8 on the year. Jack McReady, 500 so far. That looks like a tough spot.
It sure is.
Rocklin wrestling's got him in.
But he's not able to keep both shoulders down long enough.
And we have an observer on the mat.
He's going to help with the
helper,
time, just to make sure.
What was he doing out there?
Well, you know, we didn't hear the buzzer in the last round, so we want to make sure that he tapped
okay.
the ref to let him know, time is out right now.
Okay. All right. I thought, we got a hooligan on our hands.
Hey, we just like to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
So we don't want anybody.
That's my brother. I just wanted to say hi.
Give him a few pointers out there.
That looks, he's got a firm lock on his leg there. McReady does. Trying to work it. So in that scenario, are you trying to work from the legs to the guy's upper body?
Yeah, for McReady right there, he sure was.
Got a nice reversal.
See McReady trying to get that left leg over the top. He's trying to lock on to Matt Bradley's left leg like he just has, and he's going to lock his hands and try and scoot his hips underneath him and roll him through
so that he
to reverse the move.
Okay.
But I tell you, that's got to be one of the toughest pinning combinations to get out of right there.
What's that one called?
This is called the head and arm, and we've seen it about 6 times tonight. You won't see it. It's not as common in the varsity matches, but sure is effective when it's done properly.
Yeah, got a reversal. 2-point reversal.
And this is one of those things that I don't know how McCready isn't exhausted right now. He just spends a lot of time on his back with the air and the blood circulation getting choked out of him.
Yeah, that's what would get me. You know, not only are you working out, the other guy's essentially he's not strangling you, but he's trying.
Squeezing your neck.
That's tough.
This is a great match for young wrestlers, you know, freshmen, sophomores, people who haven't seen this caliber of wrestling. Even for junior high wrestlers, I've seen a couple showing up, and some of the Rocklin basketball teams showing up to watch. Because this is what it's all about, you know. We're going to have a packed stands in a few minutes, and it's going to be intense tonight. Probably a really emotional, fired up evening. I'm going to do the best I can to breathe throughout the whole thing.
Jack here, we're going into the third period. Rocklin up by 1. In this particular match, they're up 10-4, Thunder are. And in the overall, it's Del Oro by 1. Sorry, folks. It's 25-24 Del Oro overall, 10-4 this match.
And this is one of those things, when you're up by 10 points, just don't do anything stupid.
Right, you're going to get enough points here regardless to put your team ahead overall. You just don't get pinned, don't get injured.
Del Oro wrestlers just show the referee an optional start right here. And this is the variation where he can either push the Rocklin wrestler away. Didn't work out for him right there. Or he can do just that. He can jump on top and try and work it to his advantage.
Looks like Rocklin's got him where he wants him.
Although Rocklin's had him there every round so far and hasn't been able to put him away. So you got to hand it to this Del Oro youngster. He's doing a great job. Comes down to pride.
Really driving across his body, trying to get that other shoulder blade down.
Keep the head scooped up so he can't bridge. We got 9 seconds left on the clock, ladies and gentlemen.
He's just gonna hang in there. Woo! So even though Jack lost that match, he hung real tough all the way to the end. His team's only down by 3 now. If it would have been a pin, they would have been down by 6.
Correct. They would have been down by 5 overall, but it would have been a 6-point swing instead of a 4-point swing. So I mean, yeah, that was for his team.
Next up, we got big old Aubrey Pierce for the Golden Eagles.
And Anthony Alvarez for the Rocklin Thunder.
Aubrey is 7-8 on the year so far.
I can't help but notice, I look over and I see the Sierra Junior College coach here tonight to watch the wrestling. And,
Coach Worry.
I don't know if that's for recruiting purposes. I don't see why it wouldn't be, because both these schools, you know, send a lot of kids to his program.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe he just likes good wrestling.
They had quite a year this year at Sierra.
Sure did.
They won the state dual championship, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Right now, our youngster Anthony Alvarez definitely wants to get his head out of that position right there. There's a lot of weight coming down on top of his neck.
One point escape. Alvarez, Rocklin.
Doesn't surprise me at all if there's a lot of other high school wrestling coaches here tonight. You know, these are two of the
checking it out
teams. You know, just let me scout the competition and see who goes what weight and what they can do.
Yeah, see what's going to happen at the section tournament.
Yep.
into the first period here in our order.
We got very fortunate in the ref that we have tonight. He's no rookie. He's definitely a veteran. He gets called up to do the college level NCAA finals and everything else. So we've got a veteran official out here, which puts both coaches at ease.
That's good.
And he's been around wrestling for a long time, so he knows when a wrestler's doing something cheap or dirty or not trying with his best effort, or just trying to hang on and let time run out. You know?
So Aubrey Pierce up 4-1 for the Eagles here in the second period. Both wrestlers working hard as we started at the heavyweights, then moved through the lightweights. The wrestling match starts at a randomly selected weight coach, a coins, I don't know what.
Yep, in years prior, you know, back when I was in high school, it always started with the 103-pound weight class and worked its way on up. And it came to the point that, you know, you always know the heavyweights to go in last. It became routine that parents, you know, or you won't have to worry about getting warmed up or anything else.
Right.
It kind of got a little mundane. So now, as of a couple of years ago, they start doing a random draw out of a hat to see what weight class we start with, which is good because as far as strategy goes, you know, if I'm worried about, let's say, a young wrestler for Del Oro Ferguson, who happens to be, I believe, ranked #1 in the state, what weight class is he going to go? You know, what's going to happen? Who am I going to put out there against him? You know, so some of the strategies comes into effect, and that's why they came to a random draw.
Mm-hmm. And it, like you were talking about momentum, it can change things out. If you're strong in lightweights, weaker in the heavier weights, you know, each match could be different for you.
Sure can. This match, this whole duel meet might be determined by that last match out there tonight.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be something if we came out with a tie? Woo.
What happens? It's a tie?
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
Co-champs. But if this Del Oro kid continues to do what he's doing, and that is beat Anthony Alvarez from Rocklin, then there's no tie possibility here.
So we have this one and then the 215s left.
Yep, the 215s.
It's Aubrey Pierce for the Eagles trying to get a hold on the neck and leg.
It's by no means over yet. It's only a 3-point match right here with 35 seconds left. Looks to me like the Rocklin wrestlers kind of gassed out down there on the bottom.
Yeah.
There's a stall warning right there on Del Oro. The referee didn't feel like he was trying to work for a fall or work to his advantage. He was just trying to waste the time right there. The first one is always a warning, but the second time you get a stall call, then it's a point towards the other team. The third time you get a stall call in the same match, it's another point to the other team. The fourth time, it's 2 points to the other team, and the fifth time, you're disqualified. So you might be winning a match and just not doing anything.
Well, we got our match right over.
Tie. So no more possibilities for a tie. One of these teams is going to go home league champion tonight.
So the overall score as we go into the 215s, our final match is
28-28.
28 all. So yeah, they'd wrestle to a draw here, Coach. But fairly unlikely, I would think. So this is it, the 215. Alex Cool.
And we have Alex Pence from Rocklin.
So I'm willing to guarantee Alex is going to win this match one way or another.
If I was a gambler, man.
So, and for the Golden Eagles, Alex Cool.
There we go.
6-8 on the year, but
now if that Del Oro youngster can just get his shoulders out of bounds. No, mat position's kind of important right here. If he gets his shoulders out of bounds, they can't call it a pin.
Now the Rocklin guy is wearing black.
Yep, he sure is. Which
What the?
happens to be our varsity singlet is black, and it's got a blue stripe all the way through the front of it. And you know, that could have been just what was available, you know.
Okay. Really working him.
Talk about inches.
Looks like he's got him, but the ref.
20 seconds left.
I say no, he's still holding that left shoulder off the mat. Alex really working it. Have to have a 5 seconds left if he can hang on.
Oh, that was really a great job by Alex Del Oro. Can get up, work his neck out a little bit right there.
Yeah, that's Alex Kuhl for the Eagles, holding off what looked to be a near certain pin for the JV League title. Got him on the takedown there.
There's no change of control yet. Alex of Rocklin, they're saying, still has control because he hasn't broken free yet. There's been no space right there.
He's up 5-0 in the match.
It's incredibly trying. That Del Oro wrestler is using his arms to hold on to Rocklin's legs. And we all know the legs are stronger than the arms.
Good point, yeah.
I believe he stopped that for potentially dangerous on the shoulder. The caution right there is for Alex Pence, the Rocklin wrestler. He's got to have his hand on the elbow, and the other hand has got to be on the belly button. It has to be right dead in the center. So if you don't put it in too far, if you wrap it up too tight, ref will caution you, and you can get to the point of losing points for your match if you proceed to make mistakes over and over and over again.
Driving his head into the mat there.
Which is good. We want head position's important.
Got 5 seconds left in the second period. Alex winning.
Minute and 30 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen, and then we can relax. We'll have a decided champion.
Now on the coaching staff, is there a division between JV and varsity coaches, or all the coaches coach everybody?
Typically, all the coaches coach everything. You know, I mean, there's some teams that have JV coaches and head coaches, but I mean, Bruce Pearson, he's Rocklin's head coach, you know, and then Tom Gonzalez and myself, Grant Pugh, we're assistant coaches, you know. So we all coach the JV, we all coach the varsity, because at any point in time during the tournament, you could have 3 guys up wrestling on different matches. And so, I mean, you got to be able to coach everybody. You got to know everybody. And I know in football they have varsity coaches and then a whole separate JV coaching squad, but wrestling, everybody practices together. You know, you can't separate your squads for the most part.
Well, and guys moving between the different teams, and you can't really. Now, is there a different philosophy, strategy, coaching style, wrestling style between lightweights and heavyweights?
Definitely. There's moves that lightweights are more likely to be successful at than heavyweights, just due to foot speed, agility, flexibility. Sure did.
That's it.
That's it.
Varsity team going nuts over there for Rocklin.
That's all Rocklin's JV guys. We've got.
Oh, okay.
That's our second string JV and our
Okay.
third string JV. Rocklin's fortunate to have a roster of about 47 wrestlers right now.
Oh, wow.
We were up at over 50, but due to injuries and everything else, we've lost a few here and there.
So great match, down to the final, great meet. I'm sorry, down to the final match.
Wow.
34 Rocklin, 28 Del Oro, and the JV League champions. Rocklin, congratulations. We're with Coach Grant DePew here, kind enough to take time away from the bench in this critical match and help us out with the commentary. Hopefully it'll be a little less stressful to watch from up here, Coach.
I think it's more stressful up here because I see coaching things that somebody needs to be yelling and happening.
What we're going to do now, we have a break between the JV and the varsity matches. I need to take a quick break, Coach.
I need to take a quick break.
All right. So, and I'm getting the okay from Al Balbin to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you.
Not yet. There's some more. What?